Who's going to talk first, you or me?
It doesn't matter. You do it.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Ashlie, and this is my friend. You want to introduce yourself, Amy?
Hi, I'm Dara. Nice to meet you.
So I like put you on a blind date. You're like, nice to meet you. Did you take the train here? Was it bad?
Hi. How's the weather today? Is it warm out? I don't know. I don't leave my house anymore. There's a pandemic on.
And I had no idea. Welcome to Big Time, everybody. This is where we're going to talk about fat folks and pop culture and the intersection of those two things, which is oft fascinating, problematic, uncomfortable, or joyous.
And we've done a really good job with each other of like not cluing each other into how we feel about things, which is scary, but I think good because I trust Ashlie to not be a jerk, and hopefully I will not be a jerk.
And you won't be a jerk either. And here's the thing, like we are very alike and we tend to align on a lot of things. So like, I'll be really interested to see where our points of overlap cease, you know? I feel like, I mean, if I'm going to predict part of it, if there is any sort of overlap thing, I would break it down to probably two factors, right? Which are that you're significantly younger than I am. So which is not to say that like, by which I mean that I'm responding probably to old tapes in my head. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you're younger to suggest that you have less experience, but to say that I have probably been scarred and like am not as able to adapt to the new maybe as you are. And also that like you grew up somewhere certainly more urban adjacent than me, you know, like I grew up in the biggest town in my state, which was like 200,000 people. So like,
yeah. And I grew up in Los Angeles.
Right.
Although to be fair, I grew up in like a suburb of LA.
Yeah.
So like the town I grew up in was more like 16,000 by night.
Okay.
But it was still LA County. So like you drive 20 minutes and you're in Hollywood. It's the most LA thing I've said on any show ever because 20 minutes is, you think it's just Clueless, but that is a real thing people in LA do. No, it's only like 20 minutes and I don't have blue hair. It's just black. Oh, yeah. But I had been bleaching it pink and then I got sick of bleaching it myself because I'm doing my own hair during quarantine. And so now it is black. I dyed it recently because my grays were like, I basically have white hair now. So I might be significantly younger, but I am fully a white head of hair. But I did cut my own bangs in quarantine. That was a thing I did. That was a risk I took.
It's funny. I went to pull to show you like my Bonnie Raitt stripe, but I realized I did.
Your hair looks so good.
So that like I don't have it for once. I don't have the Bonnie Raitt.
Usually when I do this, it's just like white. Yeah. But I just dyed it last week, so it's not. I've got about 3 more weeks of it being this black, and then it'll be like just white, and I might grow it out. We'll see. People keep trying to talk me into it.
I want to see who's on the. I asked who's on the chat, so we got no.
So far, both of my parents are. I see Whiskey. I see Lauren. I see Banger, or Shots.
Oh, both whiskeys are on.
Both whiskeys are on. I think. Okay. We see Chad, I see Karen and Karma San Diego. Hello.
Amazing. Hi, everybody.
This is amazing. What a great group. And if you're here and I didn't say your name, you should 100% chat us because, and there's Vashti. But you should 100% say hello. Greta is in the chat. We have Coffee today as our incredible producer. I guess the first thing I should say, since this is a new thing, is welcome also to Pop Culture Co-op. This is a thing that I got really excited about and drunkenly pitched to Ashlie, who is now my co-host. And without her being like, yes, this is the thing we should do, would not have happened. This is a show we will be doing every other week, but if you're not sure what the co-op is, it is a group of women and non-gender conforming individuals who will be doing regular programming about pop culture in different ways, so that we can learn how to use Twitch and take over the platform for queer, feminist, non-binary like ways, talk about shit we want to talk about and not like just like dudes playing games. Not that that's a problem, but I think that this is a really cool platform and I want it. I want it to be mine and my friends.
Dudes can play games.
And we have a bunch of really cool programming, so you should definitely follow us on socials if you don't already. On Twitter, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel where we're putting all of our TD is coffee, mom, since my mom is asking. Stacy Coffee, who's going to play some games. There's going to be like tabletop gaming games. There's going to be a game about Vin Diesel, a show about Vin Diesel and art. And I have a weekly show about everything. And Caitlin is here. Oh my God. Yeah, and there's a show and tell show. Like there's so much happening on this channel. So make sure you're following us. Make sure you follow us on Twitch as well, because we honestly need the viewers and the followers in order to become monetized so that we can keep doing this. So that is the pitch in the beginning. Thank you for being here. It's a really fun and weird and crazy thing that that we're doing. And I'm excited to talk to everybody during what's a really weird week to be doing content that is not about the world and the coup and all the scary shit that's happening. But I am honestly like the distraction for me is much needed. So we're here for you as well.
And I will
yeah,
like we didn't even talk about this, but since the coup, all I'm going to say is there is so much to not like about Donald Trump. I don't know how anyone mentions that he's fat.
It bothers me so much because it's such a moot point.
Who gives a shit that he's fat? Like,
oh, and also Coffee has a show about The Bachelor, before I forget. That's every other Thursday, which is awesome. But yeah, who cares that he's like, why are we fat shaming him? Like we have no reason to pop culture coup co-op channel. That's like what I talk about. Like,
thanks, Lauren. That's
it's better than like, what was I can't even remember what we were referencing, but we were talking about like sad bad.
She's gonna
sad bad dad.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
sad, bad. Like whatever we were talking about. What was that last week? I don't even remember what I talked. I don't even remember what last week was. This whole week has been 3 weeks.
There was a week last week. I have no idea.
I had a show on Sunday and I don't even remember what the topic. Oh, it was Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
And Pedro Pascal was sad bad dad.
Right.
Sad bad dad.
Cool tones. You can never put a warm toned man in cool tones.
It's rude, frankly.
He just goes real bad.
But yeah, the fact that we even bother to fat shame about Donald Trump, and like that people who are otherwise quite smart about things have decided that that's a thing that's worth their time is kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
People who should know better.
Right. And it's also like, the thing is when you talk shit about people being fat, all of your fat friends are like, oh, so if I run afoul of you, that's really what you've been thinking about me. And you just don't say it because we're friends.
Yeah, it's like, oh, when you're saying that you think I'm beautiful and you don't understand why I don't think that I'm beautiful, the minute that you don't like me or you're frustrated, you're just going to be like, well, she's the fat friend. It's like you're telling on yourself. And I think that this is the time of year where people tell on themselves the most.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's like new year, new you, right? So like there's a whole thing.
Which is fine. I am fully on board with people who like we were talking a little bit about this, but like I am all about body autonomy and like I want you to love your body however you want or not love your body. I love this idea of body neutrality and I've been getting really on board with this idea of like your body is doing what it does and it doesn't matter if it looks good or not. So like it doesn't need to be body positivity. It doesn't need to be like I'm a sexy fat lady. It can also just be like I am what I am and that's fine. There's no like, it's this idea that there's a moral implication by what my weight is. And like, in this time of year, it's like, well, you've been bad. You've been so naughty.
Right. Right. You cheated and had cookies.
Oh, you've been in quarantine.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
time to undo all of the terrible shit you did. As if there wasn't a coup last week where people were like
Right.
literally tearing, like that is bad shit.
But there is something
Hateful and
like,
racist is bad.
yes. I, but I keep sort of having, I can't imagine how scary it must be to operate under those concepts and be like, oh my God, I let myself go, which is like by for whatever reason, gaining weight in a quarantine, which seems normal for
Sure.
a number of reasons.
Yeah.
And the idea of being afraid of now, like as people resurface once whatever, if we ever resurface again, like having on top of all the other fears, to have that fear like stacked on top of it of like, and then I'm gonna have to go outside and people are gonna see how much weight I gained. Like,
Well, here's another thing, and we
mind
also wow, we really haven't talked about anything before this show. I'm actually really impressed with us. We tried not to. The other thing is like there's a lot of shaming happening on face. Like I don't go on. I am on Facebook. I play roller derby. Roller derby's on Facebook. It's a
right.
thing. Like it's where we are connected to photographers. People take our picture a lot. I have to look at my whole body all the time on the internet and just be proud of it. But there's a whole like world of like this, there's a weird intersection with like CrossFit and roller derby, which I was part of. So like I can't talk shit. I loved CrossFit because I liked lifting things. And like big bodies are really good at lifting heavy weight, which cool. But there's this whole intersection and idea with COVID that like, well, the reason COVID is bad is because you're fat. And I got a whole thing like where somebody posted who I thought was a lovely, wonderful person into this about how like, well, I don't want to be stuck inside because you didn't lose weight in the 6 months that we've been in quarantine, knowing that it was a bad thing for COVID. And the amount of people where I like obviously like was like, here's a lot of science, like real life science things that say that that's not what, huh? Like, and also I'm me and you've known me and you like me and you think that I'm a really good person and like what the ever loving fuck
said this to you?
Oh yeah. Like not about me, but about fat people. And I'm like, well, I am a fat person.
Right, but you're
like,
small fat, which means people think that they can say that to you. And then when you say something to them, they go, well, you're not really. As if
yeah. Oh, well, you're not really fat. I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't fit in clothes at regular stores. So
right. But this is also what we were talking about in terms of Lizzo, right? In case you guys don't know, in which case, where were you? Oh, probably paying attention to the coup. But Lizzo posted that she was going on a cleanse last week. And of course, the internet flipped out, which is really complicated, but also pretty not cool. Like, Lizzo is known for telling people to love themselves and loving herself, which is great. And we all need more of it. And it's wonderful.
I cried 3 times at a Lizzo concert.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just wept. Yes. Just we were at a Lizzo concert and just like
we were
in the air at church weeping.
BT Dubs, Stacey Abrams opened for Lizzo with a speech when we were both there.
Yep. Thank you, Brooklyn. Thank you, Brooklyn. It was incredible. It was such a good show. Yeah, it's a shame you didn't go to that show because it was a really good kind of fat bullshit quick. Yes.
As if that, and listen, that's fair. Like I understand that. Let's go back to Lizzo and then we can talk about like.
But I also want to shout out that earlier Karen said that the coup workout is climbing a wall with fur on, which made me laugh. Anyway, but so yeah, like the fact is that what someone does with their body is ultimately none of our business, and to pretend otherwise is concern trolling. And none of that has what Lizzo does with her personal body has no relationship to fat activism or fighting anti-fatness. Because anti-fatness is a systemic, entrenched system. Okay, yes.
Fine. Yes.
Yes, couple shots. I have a
This is
denial
gin.
of rights in our country and in the civilized world of a hierarchy, and it has less to do with my individual, it has nothing to do with my individual choices about my body, and much more to do with establishing equality between people of all sizes. So
Absolutely.
like whether Lizzo chooses to diet or not, or chooses to cleanse or not, has nothing to do with the fact that I don't get necessarily adequate health care, because my doctors are much more likely to blame everything on what size I am.
Or the fact that I went to a psychiatrist and I said I would like to work on the fact that I am either sabotaging my weight loss or need to learn to love my body, and they suggested I go get gastric bypass. That's not what I said.
Oh, hey,
And
Cat's here. Nice.
Ooh, champagne party. Talking about Rebel Wilson is a big conversation that we may have later. I feel like we're going to go over an hour, but whatever. We'll see how we feel.
Let's get to Rebel Wilson. Can we do that? Can we just talk
about we're gonna talk about Rebel Wilson, because I have a lot of big fifis about Rebel Wilson as with the parts that she takes and also the weight loss that she did. And I'd like to start this conversation with the thing, which is that yes, you can detox for non-weight loss related stuff, and also like it's fine if Lizzo wants to lose weight or not, or detox or do any champagne party is hound. Fantastic. Love it. Also, like, I think that that's fine. It's none of our fucking business what people do with their bodies.
Absolutely.
It just isn't.
No.
And she's beautiful fat. And if she loses a bunch of weight, she's probably still going to be beautiful. And the thing that I think of, and she's a rock star, and it's not like I love Liz. Before I move on to Rebel Wilson, like I love Lizzo because she is a talented powerhouse of a singer and a great songwriter, and her music makes me happy.
Yep.
She's not. There's this thought that it's like, well, she's fat, so she's like the person next door. No. She's a fucking rock star.
Right. She's not accessible.
Like, she's not accessible. Like, I couldn't be Lizzo tomorrow. She is a rock star. She is a talented rock star. And there's something infantilizing about this idea that we like Lizzo because she's fat and thus she's just like us. No. There is nothing about Lizzo that is just like us.
No.
Or maybe like you, because you were a talented actress, but she's not like just some person who like is off the street and like,
right.
Oh, well, if she could do it, I could. No. Like, it's that she's amazing. She's talented. She's hardworking. She's got grit because she like lasted in a business for all these years through also being a fat person.
Right.
And then also espouses body positivity and is just plain actually sexy.
It is a weird thing where like fat people cannot escape being told what to do with their bodies, no matter, like, they can't get famous enough. They can't get, like, you never escape it, right? There's like no exit to strangers telling you what is good for you in terms of
Here's a thing worth pointing out, and I'm sorry because maybe I'll embarrass you for a second, but Ashlie is an accomplished actress.
Oh.
No, don't awe. You are like for real. Like you're an impressive. My family has a joke that we can't turn on the TV without you being on the television. Okay. Like it's that much. Like you are so commonly on the television. You are a very accomplished actress. You're very talented. You've won awards. Like you're the real fucking deal. I can't believe I have a show with you. I got very nervous because I was like, I'm doing a show with my friend, but my friend's also a very accomplished actress who I look up to. And it's something worth noting that like you've also had to come through this industry before we had a lot of representation of larger bodies.
Old, right? So like
no, I'm not calling you old. Fuck off.
I was adding on to the conversation to be like, well, also I'm old. So like when I got on, it was like Nell Carter and Monique and Cameron Manheim.
Hammer Mannheim.
And
Sorry.
like those were the people that preceded me, you know, and Kathy Bates on Broadway and stuff like that. She had not really made the jump to film yet, but those were the people that were fat in public before I was. Roseanne was a huge one. Ooh,
Yeah.
Problematic AF now, but anyway, so it's interesting, like, to see the journeys of the people that came. Like, Rebel came at around the same time I did. Like, Rebel started working around 2004, 2005, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because by 2007, like, I knew who she was, and she was full on famous, you know? She's had a clothing line. She's had all manner of things. And
now she's a person who's lost a lot of weight.
Right.
Which she looks great. Good for her. You know, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that that's a problem. I would say, and this is what we were starting to talk about, and we stopped ourselves because this is going to be a big conversation.
I have this conversation.
And I have some pictures of Rebel Wilson. You can feel free to just bring them up whenever you feel like it.
Now. Yeah.
Oh, there is. She's already on top of it. Don't even listen to me. We have an amazing, look at how hot that dress is, by the way. I want that dress on my body immediately. But like, primarily my issue that I have with Rebel Wilson has nothing to do with her weight. It's that she makes her weight a joke. And I make my weight a joke too. And that is something that like I've been working to change, because I notice I don't like it with her. So I can't like it with me. Like, I will wear sexy things and be like, haha, it's funny because it's sexy and I'm not. But like, I am. Fuck that. That's crazy. I'm a gorgeous girl and like I got a belly. Who gives a fuck? But like, the thing that's cool, like, that bothers me with Rebel Wilson is she's in all these movies. She's in all of these, like, I feel pretty, like, or not, I feel, Isn't It Romantic did this a bit. Like, certainly The Hustle did this in a way that made me really unhappy. Even in Pitch Perfect, she does a whole thing where she's like, I'm Fat Amy. And like, this whole thing that she does is this idea that like, it's not funny that she's fat and funny and uses her body in a very cool way. The joke is that she's sexy and people she sees sexy. And nobody would ever think she's sexy because she's fat. When in actuality, she's sexy.
Yeah, she's absolutely, like, objectively sexy. Karen also brought up Isn't It Romantic, which is like, if someone gets hit on the head, you know, a fat girl gets hit on the head and then gets to have like a film romance, you know?
But it's
so funny that we can watch romance movies about non-fat people and no one has to get hit on the head at the beginning of it. Like, somehow.
And like, the thing is that we have people like Melissa McCarthy who are funny, who are fat. And she's in my favorite fat person movie of all time, which is Spy, which is funny because she's not funny at all because she's fat. Being fat is zero part of the conversation. She's just like really good at her job and people assume she won't be because of how she looks, and instead she's phenomenal. That's awesome. That movie is the best. If you have not seen Spy, 100% recommend it. But I was saying, it doesn't surprise me that Rebel Wilson is the one who went through an egregious weight loss and has a very like washboard ab boyfriend now.
It's interesting, right? Because like, I'm with you, but I also like, there's part of me that goes like, those are very real choices that actors make all the time, that fat actresses make all the time. Like, the amount of, I just like flashed back to, there was a pilot with a person that was on SNL and then left SNL and was going to have a show. And the whole thing was that like, he got too drunk and I was supposed to audition for the fat girl with the bad tattoo on her back that he like makes out with in the bathroom. And then the door flies open and everyone sees that we've been making out. And then he's horrified. This was a script that was active. I don't know. I guess it didn't come out because I didn't ever hear about it being an actual show. But like, this was a script that I was supposed to audition for in 2018. And I was like,
that is recent.
No, yeah. Like,
that's too recent for that to be a joke.
So recent. And I was like, I'm not doing it. But, you know, there's the thing of like, it is her body. And if she wants to make fun of it and make a shit ton of money doing it,
That's
right? Like,
fair.
I don't,
Yeah.
I guess it's like, well, I might not be super psyched about it, but like it's well within her power. Also, like
Yeah.
us saying it on a Twitch show is not gonna like Rebel will.
Sorry, Rebel Wilson, that we have 30 people watching. So just
But
FYI, we
we'll
have
all have to
feelings.
stop now.
And the feelings are that you look hot now, and also you looked hot then.
Right.
Like the feelings generally are positive. It's just that I don't love watching movies where like being sexy and fat is the funny part.
Sure. No.
And
Well,
people
yeah,
were like
like,
very into the positivity of that. They were like,
and
"Oh,
it's
it's so
constant.
positivity. People think she's hot," and I'm like,
But
"No, you're
here's the
laughing."
thing, right? Like fat actors have to work, right? And the amount of jobs that objectify you versus the amount of jobs that champion you are like 10 to 1 probably if you're Rebel Wilson. And that's if you're Rebel Wilson. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like, and you either own it. Sorry, Lauren is telling me to tell the Brittany runs a marathon story, which is a sidebar, but it is a funny story if you guys would care to hear it. Really,
I love the movie. Please tell us the story.
So I auditioned, and all of a sudden I was like, "How many people are on this chat? Can I tell this? 22 people? Okay, you guys, this is just between us."
Just between us, anyone who watches the Twitch or goes on the YouTube or watches this at any point. Just a heads up.
I booked a small role in Brittany Runs a Marathon that I was then not able to do. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to say which role it was. But but it was a nice role. It was a good role. But it was like 3 scenes, I think. Anyway, but in the audition room, I broke a chair. Not in the audition room, in the waiting room for the audition. I'm sitting in a chair, which then broke, which is every fat person's nightmare. And I mean, it's every person's nightmare, but it's especially every fat person's nightmare. And New York actors are just the sweetest people. I was in that room with 5 of the best looking people I've ever seen in my entire life. They were all gorgeous, gorgeous model people. And I have never seen 5 gorgeous people get so angry at a chair in my entire life. They were all like, "Oh yeah, I was here before you came in. I didn't sit in that chair because I could tell it was just about to break. Stupid fucking chair." Like they were so mad at this dumb chair on my back to just like defray. But it's all, yeah, it was wonderful. It was delightful and hilarious. But it's also that thing when you know people are doing that so hard because they are so mortally embarrassed for you that like they're just like taking it out on the chair. But it was great because then I had to go in and cry in an audition scene and then like
you were like, "Oh, it just happened. I'm there. I'm ready."
Actually, come on. And I'm like, yep, I'm ready. I'm ready to get, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh no.
It was really cute. 5 very good looking people yelling at a broken chair for me. Anyway,
the chat has just popped off about Discovery and Tilly and Star Trek Discovery, which I did not grab a bunch of pictures for because I didn't think to talk about Tilly because it's happening right now. And Tilly is amazing. And it's one of the most fun characters on Star Trek today. And she's a high ranking official. Her weight's never a thing. She runs like marathons on the show, but apparently people are shitty. I haven't seen that. You don't have a picture for that. I did not send you a picture for that. I'm so sorry.
Coffee. But even who is that?
Have you watched, you don't watch Star Trek. You're not a Trekkie like I am. I got that big old Star Trek tattoo.
I know you do. I know because I saw.
Tilly is the coolest character on Star Trek. She is a heavier girl who is like a captain, not a captain, but she's like getting up there. She's like She's an ensign, technically. Mary Wiseman. I follow her on Twitter. Her husband plays an Endorian on the right now on the show.
Oh my God,
and there's a version where she's like the bad guy captain. Like there's an alternate universe thing happening, and like she's fucking badass as shit. But she's just like a boss bitch who's like a little heavier, and she gets to wear the Starfleet uniform, and nobody talks about it except for fandom, because fandom is bullshit.
I just picture Bailey from Grey's Anatomy, like boss bitch.
Yeah, she's a little less like, I would say she's more like medium sized. But I think she's amazing. I'll send you some stuff from her because I think she's just fantastic. But apparently the fandom is pissed, which doesn't surprise me at all because of course. Because of course she does, because they're like, oh, she would never be a captain. She's heavier. Like, what the ever loving fuck? Because you know what it means is that we're like lazy.
Right. Yeah.
Or we're not smart enough to know better.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For sure. Because you know who's really lazy? Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, hold on. She's so lazy.
Because obviously Oprah is like lazy and doesn't have any money, because apparently having money and not being lazy will fix being fat.
Fix it. Oh yeah. Oh, you have the money for a personal chef, then you're fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You have money for a trainer and personal chef, and you have willpower. Like, I feel like Oprah Winfrey is the best argument for like, if all it took was like
willpower
and ambition and money, Oprah Winfrey would be 110 pounds.
Not even.
Yeah.
She would. It's just this is the best idea for a show we've ever had, because there is a dumb amount of passion in our brains.
I know.
I feel like we're all over the place, but in a good way. We're learning, everybody.
Look at the Chandra Wilson shout out for Caroline or Change. That show was amazing. See, how you are about Star Trek is how I am about the Broadway. Okay, so
I also love the Broadway.
No, that's not true. You're right, because you actually know about Broadway and I know about Star Trek.
I'm sorry, you can swear. This isn't the Gotham channel.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought that was a Twitch restraint. That's not.
No, I have this marked as adult content. That's why I said the F word like 45 times.
No idea.
I mean, we can't show nipples, but like we can swear. Dudes play like Fortnite and cuss at each other on this. We're never going to be worse than them.
Okay, can we talk about Bridgerton for a second?
Okay, I pulled a bunch of stuff about Bridgerton, and then I forced Ashlie to watch all of Bridgerton.
I just watched.
We won't give spoilers. We won't talk about the need for jizz.
Like a cartoon. It's because I watched 8 episodes of Bridgerton in 2 days.
I didn't tell you to do that. I just want you to know that I wasn't like, we're having an episode about fat people, you need to watch all of Bridgerton. I just asked her if she had watched it so we could talk about it.
Yeah.
And we won't do spoilers if you haven't watched it. There's a little that's like a little bit. Oh, you need the yellow dress. That's good to know, because the yellow dress is specifically meant to be like very ugly. And it is a terrible cut for a fat person.
Yellow. Karen, you have that yellow cardigan and it looks
yellow is good
on you. I'm just saying.
Just don't. It's you know what? It's not the yellow dress issue. It is an empire waist on a fat girl with little tits.
Yep.
It's made to be aggressively mean.
It is.
Also, I'm a big.
Where they're like, oh, we're just going to give you shorthand and we're going to give you like these 3 actresses with big feathers in their hair. And you're just supposed to know that they are ambitious, social climbing, sad sack people, because one of them is fat and one of them is like too thin or whatever. You know what I mean? Like these shorthands for like not the leads.
Worth noting, Karma, that is the correct fashion for the time, that it would not be corsets, which is true.
That's true. Empire waist. Everybody's wearing an empire waist in it. Even that milky child that's supposed to be the protagonist is wearing empire waists. You know, she is very
I love Penelope. And we won't give away things about Penelope, but I do want to point out that there's things about Penelope that I also love. That I have to point out that Whack Job Television, who is Lauren, not to call you out, said you'd like to get a stars and name it Duke of Hastings. I wonder what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Are you being sexual in the chat?
Yeah.
Do you need a timeout?
Yep.
But also same. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was saying
I'm
that
sorry.
everyone
I
is
think
hot.
the guy that the Duke of Hastings boxes is way hotter than the Duke of Hastings, though.
Everybody in the show is hot,
What is
top to
what's his
bottom.
name? Will? Is that the guy's name? The cute married
I
guy
think
that
so.
he's fighting with.
I think so. No.
Call me out on struggling to say something nice about the girl that plays Daphne Bridgerton. Oh, sorry.
I mean, she exists.
Yeah, it's true. Empire Wastes are terrible.
They're the worst. They're the worst cut for any human.
They're so mean. Also, you're right though. There's no like, why are they wearing corsets if they're wearing empire? Like,
it's not like it's
the pregnant girl can wear an can wear a corset. That makes sense. It's rearranging her organs and probably harming her unborn child. But like, whatever. I can see it as a means of like hiding a pregnancy, but there's no other reason to wear a corset in an empire waist. It makes absolutely.
So we're going to talk about Nicola Coughlan a little bit. And I'm calling that out because Whiskey is talking about her, because Nicola Coughlan was in Dairy Girls. She was also in Bridgerton as Penelope, which is a fat character, but they never talk about the fact that she's fat. It's not part of her storyline, which is super fun. They show her eating, which I think is a big deal. Like she's sitting with her friend Eloise and they're just like eating chocolate and sharing chocolate. And it's not like a conversation. It's not like, oh, this fat girl's eating chocolate, which is how they would play it in almost anything else.
But
it's just like it's like friends sharing chocolate.
I hear that, but and you're right, it's never addressed. But in a way, I almost like think that in some ways to me that hurt more. That like they didn't need to address why you would never take Colin seriously as a match for Penelope, but because you could see why. You know what I mean? Like, I felt the fact that, like, they weren't.
So, spoiler alert for a hot second.
I mean, that's not.
Mute for 2 minutes.
That's not, well, well, anyway, we can.
No, I mean, I'm telling people to mute it for a few minutes so they can mute for a second so we can talk about it. Because I disagree in that, like, I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
And I haven't read the books, and there are books. So there's also there's like a spoiler alert in the books that have existed for like 15 years. Mm-hmm. So take that as you will. Mm-hmm. And that, like, I don't think they're not going to end up together. And I think he likes her back and is just scared.
I hope
and
so.
Not scared of her, but like scared of the fact that her family is of like a lower caste.
I mean, it'd be nice to subvert those, but I absolutely like, but we were supposed to intuit from the very beginning that like, this girl was not going to be the diamond. You know what I mean? Like, it was a girl that was.
She's, I don't disagree with, that's a good point.
And it was not going to be Penelope.
I tried to, by the way, I'm so sorry. I tried to type in the chat Lauren and I wrote learn. It's not the gin. It's just I took my glasses off because my eye makeup was good. It might be the gin. Fuck you. No, I took my glasses off, so I'm trying to type without glasses.
I love these friend love connections that are happening in the chat. It makes
the co-op, like, because and I know I pitched the co-op earlier and I'm going to pitch the co-op again. But like the cool part of the co-op is, how you say that your friends are the coolest friends? Yeah. And like your friends are the best and the coolest, but like mine actually are. Which means that my friends are also cool, like friends with the coolest people in the world. So that's how the co-op is it's like my friends are really amazing and should have shows. And then also all of my friends' friends. And now we have a co-op of people having shows about weird shit. And I'm really excited for your and Lauren's show, Bring Singles, really which is starting soon.
Stops having COVID. I'm not saying that you are.
We have not committed to a start date because COVID.
But I'm really excited to do it.
I'm excited for it. And Lauren is the funniest person on any chat.
Anyway, and also anybody who's in the chat that doesn't have a pop culture co-op show should pitch a pop culture co-op show. And
because it's for everybody.
Whiskey.
Whiskey, you'd be great.
Like all should be getting your shows. So Anyway.
Also follow us. We need subscribers because we need to hit
Please
50
do.
subscribers to monetize. It's a whole thing. We're trying to monetize enough for me to like be able to afford the Zoom. We don't need a lot. We're not here for the money, but we are here for the fun and doing something that we think is productive. And as Thrasher said, finding meaning in the meaningless during COVID.
I'm looking at my phone so I can see the picture of Nicola Coughlan that's up.
Oh yeah, I have it.
Not that bad. It's the rust-colored one. The orange one is not bad.
It's cute. I just liked her with a dog.
It's really cute. Her with.
And the thing is that like Nicola Coughlan, worth noting, and I think these pictures are coming soon, is fucking gorgeous.
Oh yeah, yeah. Coffee, can we see the cute ones of her in fashion?
Show her being gorgeous.
Yeah, the one drinking the Coca-Cola. I want that dress real bad. Oh yeah, there's the terrible yellow dress.
Oh no, I love this.
Yeah.
Oh, you're off the table. Now we're on the like high fashion part.
Yeah, I was looking at the rewind.
Oh yeah, and Bolshi is gonna have a show about communism. But yeah, like look at this dress.
Yeah.
Look at how gorgeous she is. She was on Graham Norton, and she's wearing like a black dress. Like she takes a lot of fashion risks.
Yeah. Though
I love her.
Say, like one of the great things, Nicola Coughlan is 33 years old. And I have to say, like, it is the amount of design for fat people that has emerged in the past 10 years is fantastic. Like the resource for clothing that people have. First of all, the amount of straight sizes that have gone into small fat sizing, right? So like straight brands that go up to like straight size
3X,
18 or 20, like awesome. I got a Champion tracksuit the other day in a 2X that I'm very excited about. That Lauren and I will be debuting our respective tracksuits.
I love it. I wear a 2X. I love a 2X.
Yeah, man, that's just great. But also like the sizing that the plus size brands that size up to like size 40 or whatever, just the number of them and the amount of variety and choice that you get now is like crazy. Like, so there was a brand called Evans that started in 1930 in the UK. And in the UK, it was pretty much one of the only plus size brands there was. It was like sort of the Lane Bryant of the UK. And they were owned by the same people that owned Topshop and Dorothy Perkins and all that sort of stuff. And they went on the chopping block like a week ago, all of those Arcadia brands, because they're like giving up that thing. And this Australian company called City Chic, which is really great if you're a fat person and you want cute dresses.
I just learned about City Chic through you. So
City Chic is fantastic. They're an Australian brand. They also make jeans and tops and all that sort of stuff. Real cute stuff. They snapped up Evans, so they're expanding their market. And it's just really exciting to see how much plus size fashion there is and how much high-end plus size fashion there is now, which is gross and great, right? Because it's nice. Like I remember going to an award ceremony in 2005 and being like, the amount of the dresses available to me were close to none, you know, like in terms of like gala level dressing, you know?
Yeah.
And I ended up wearing a modified wedding dress because that's what was available. Because wedding dresses come in all sizes, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, but now it's harder to find cute lower end stuff. You can find if you have the money, you can find almost anything in fat clothing.
ASOS is worth calling out. ASOS is most of my closet. Yep. I have to say, like, I look hot as shit in ASOS.
Right? ASOS, Shine, like those brands. That's the other thing, right? Like if you're looking for inexpensive, ethical, and for fat people.
Oh yeah, it doesn't exist, and without a lot of money.
Yep.
It's the triangle, but the triangle is even harder when you're fat. So then you have to feel like a terrible person because you're like, okay, well, Shine or Shein or whatever the hell you call it is terrible. It's terrible to the world. They've let out Nazi necklaces. Like there's all these things, but also like, what are my options?
Yeah.
You can go to Forever 21 and buy the same top, or you can go to even like the not fast fashion houses and buy something for like a few bucks. But yeah, got mad sales, but like they're still not that. And also, Eloquy doesn't have the fashion that I want, which is a problem for me. I do a lot of like, it's like fashion over curve for me. Like I like mesh and I'm a little goth, a little witchy, a little punk. I want linens. I want like, but I don't want to look like Chico, which is fine.
Yes, super fit hero. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I also don't know if that's great making sizes smaller than large. Like people are smaller than large. Like there's bodies of all sizes. We're talking about fatness, but that doesn't mean we're anti-smallness. Like you be you.
No, but I also think that like there are plenty of options for what happens is when companies are making larger sizes and smaller sizes, what they tend to do is make a pattern on a smaller size and then just allow more fabric for a larger size.
100%.
So like a detail that is this big on a small becomes like this big, proportionally on like a large, and then by the time you get to like a 3X, 4X, the detail is almost non-existent. So I just feel like it is kind of nice to just have a company some companies that just focus on larger sizes, because there's certainly enough size companies that only
there's plenty. That's true. I would say that like something we talked about just because we're friends and we were talking about it before we decided to have the show was the Betsy Johnson line.
Oh yeah.
Betsy Johnson came out with a specific plus size launch in conjunction with Torrid.
Yeah.
And I know you bought some of the items.
I did buy some of the items and I like some of the items, but it's not Betsy Johnson.
And see, I was frustrated because I said, why does Betsy Johnson need to pair with Torrid? Betsy Johnson should just put out plus size clothing.
Right. But Betsy Johnson clearly did not want to put up.
Oh, no. I mean, when I wanted to go to prom and I tried on Betsy Johnson dresses and I was thinner then, I wasn't that like, I mean, I was a 10, 12 at prom time. Like, it's not like I mean,
yeah,
I couldn't find dresses that fit me. My prom dress was made by my godfather, who's a costume designer. And my other prom dress, because I went with my best friend to her prom, was pulled from a studio fitting. He pulled it from a studio. Warner Brothers gave me my prom dress.
That's like, so good.
Yeah, my first fitting for a prom dress. I'm aging myself, so I'm in my 30s. Was in the pre-production office of True Blood.
That's so hot.
The seamstress, the fitter, was
such an LA story.
So my life is LA stories, and I try not to like throw out my LA stories, but they happen. So the fitter for my prom dress was the seamstress for the first season of True Blood, and my godfather was the costume designer for the first like 3 episodes. So he like sets the tone and then he passes it on because he doesn't do TV, he does movies, which is also a thing I just said out loud. He's fancy, he's great, I love him, but that was like a life I grew up in. I also went to like film school in LA. I went to arts high school, like whatever. I have a very LA thing. I used to work in like whatever. So I grew up, I like went to the True Blood pre-production offices for like all my fittings. And then later when I did work on a movie with him, she was the person who was the seamstress on the movie. And she was like, I made your prom dress.
Yes.
It was like 5 years later.
I love that person.
It was so nice. Ooh, Eric Estrada pulled your wisdom teeth. That's a weird story, and I want to hear more about that. But I will say that like that's the fact that like I had to get a prom dress custom made because my style was just like not gettable is also like a thing.
Yeah, and listen, I want to shout out Torrid, right? Like Torrid has been
super shout out Torrid
making stuff for fat goth girls since like the
cute shit too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. I took you seriously, Lauren, with your jokes.
Yeah. That was your first mistake. But Betsy Johnson was always sort of a heartbreak, I think, for big girls that like that she would never you're always getting comforted with like, oh, the purses and the accessories, and it's like great, but
The shoes now.
I actually am no longer into just buying accessories from brands that don't make clothes that I can wear.
And the thing is, like, this has nothing to do with Torrid. It really, like, it's this idea that like Betsy Johnson, who's supposed to be a little punk and a little out there and a little different, can't embrace large people, is really frustrating. Right. Like that's, you would think,
New York perspective. I feel like New York can be super fattest in its own way because we're
just in LA.
Like, yeah, New York is very much like, no, you're supposed to smoke cigarettes instead of eating. Like it was like this when coming up in New York in the early thousands was very much that old thing of like, no, you walk while you drink coffee and you chain smoke a cigarette and you don't eat. And you're this big and you wear tiny black jeans and,
Yeah, I mean,
aesthetic. In fact,
I wasn't here yet.
Have any place in that aesthetic,
I mean, in LA, it was different but similar, where it was a lot of like actresses and actors who moved from other places of the country. I always say like LA is either the natives or people who move there to be famous. And the people who you're on mute, my bud.
Said right.
We get the bingo card. Yay! Bingo card is if you've got your bingo card up, somebody being on mute. But like the thing about LA is it's like a lot of people who move there to be famous, and people who move to somewhere to be famous usually aren't fat people.
Right.
So you're just surrounded by the most beautiful.
But you're right.
Yeah, because you're amazing and you're different. And like the thing about you is that you are brave. And I wasn't brave. I was scared to do exactly what you did. And I quit doing that. But you fucking stuck with it, which is one of the reasons I look up to you, is that you were like, it's hard. I'm very good at what I do. I will keep doing it.
Thanks.
And that's amazing.
Thank you. Nicola Coughlan is also like that. I can't get over the fact that she's 33 years old.
I'm 32 years old.
Great. Oh my God, you're a baby. But she's 33.
But she played like a high schooler like last year.
Yeah. She fully plays like a young teen, it's really wild. Coffee, can you bring up have we seen that dress of that picture of Nicola Coughlan drinking the soda
where she looks like she's 15, but she's 33.
But I really want that dress. And if anybody can source this dress for me,
get this dress for Thrasher, please.
Yeah, I really, really want it. I'll give you money later.
This is a fun show because we basically just like hop around a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
Eventually we'll have guests and we'll keep having these conversations. I think it's important. Let's wait to see that's the picture. That's the dress.
Come on, that is such a good picture. Oh, so cute. Right?
It does look Mod Coffee.
And ModCloth has been really good about getting some inclusive sizing.
Although to note, worth noting, they are owned by Walmart.
Not anymore. They were owned by Walmart. They are no
Oh my God.
Owned by Walmart.
JK, they're not owned by Walmart anymore, so I don't exist.
They definitely were. Yep. Coffee's like, yep, it's great. It was definitely noted. Yeah, because
it wasn't, and then it was, and now it's not again.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, Eloquy and ModCloth went independent, I believe. So they're like,
thank goodness, because I think it's more interesting.
Damn.
Not that I have anything against Walmart, because I also think, did Eric Estrada buy Walmart? I love you, Lauren. He pulled out your teeth and he bought Walmart
with her teeth. He like came up to the counter and he was like,
here you go. Here is Lauren's teeth.
And like slammed Lauren's molars down on the cabinet.
Eric Estrada is the tooth fairy. Just tell your friends. Eric Estrada is the tooth fairy, and he uses teeth as financial conversation pieces. He's like, here is money, and money is teeth.
I'm just like I'm like inserting it into my head, and now I'm like, yeah.
I think this makes sense. Anytime you watch reruns of Chips now, you know what to think.
True.
You're like, oh, he was pulling, or that, what was the show where they made the like reality stars be police? Wasn't he on that?
What? There was a show.
I'm not lying. Lauren, look it up. Google this for me. He was on a show where he had to be a police officer, but like a fake police officer. There was a reality show where they had like, it was like Janet Jackson, if I remember correctly.
Let's be real. They couldn't be worse than the actual police. So.
Honestly.
Okay. On that note.
Oh no. Oh, these are some really funny comments. Undercover Boss. It's not that show. No, I just think it's worth noting that like I'm not wrong. Thank you, the Hound.
Yeah.
I think he was on C-Lab. That is true. He was on C-Lab.
I loved that show.
I have a few episodes of C-Lab I remember in my brain for reasons. Some of them were very hot. I don't know why. I've always been a nerd. I think that like this conversation is important. I'm really
good because we're gonna have it for like a year and a half. So
I hope so. I'm really grateful for everyone who's in the comments and having conversations. I'm mostly grateful that like you all are so passionate about this as well.
Yeah.
I think that like this is a big subject matter. The thing we haven't talked about yet that I think we need to make sure we touch on before we go today, at least somewhat, is the fact that we talked about Lizzo a little, but like the forefront of this movement of body positivity or body neutrality, or really just like talking about our bodies. Like it would be remiss of us not to mention people of color who have really been at the forefront of talking about this, who like this is their space as well, and mostly. And I think it's something we'll talk about more as we move on, but it's absolutely something that's critical and important to the story of body, like talking about large bodies.
Right. Well, and the basis of fat activism was fat Black women talking about their lived experience, and then white women that were smaller fats then translated that, or even fat adjacent, translated that into the commodified conversation of body positivity, which then quickly morphed into, or always was, and finally revealed itself to be a version of body shaming in and of itself.
And white supremacy.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Which is also one of the things about Lizzo, right? It's like, not only should we not be telling anyone what to do with their body, like the idea of telling Lizzo what to do with her body as she operates through the world as a fat Black woman, in the venues and places where she is, and the rarefied space that she occupies. It's not on, mate. It's not on. Like,
it ain't okay.
Telling anybody what to do with their bodies. We definitely shouldn't be telling fat Black women to do it with their bodies, and we definitely shouldn't be telling anybody who is like breaking the barriers that she is, and is often, I imagine, the only fat person and Black person and woman in spaces all at once. Like, talk about some fucking like pressure.
And Karen, you're not wrong about this Lizzo and Harry Styles conversation. And before we, like, if you're all cool staying another few minutes, it's maybe worth talking about a little.
Yeah.
Because there's this conversation happening, and I don't know if you know this, with Harry Styles. So this is big. So Harry Styles was recently seen holding hands with was recently seen holding hands with Olivia Wilde.
Yes.
So there's rumors abound about how they're dating.
I knew that.
But Harry Styles, like a month ago or whatever, pre-COVID, was seen holding hands with Lizzo and doing all these things and flirting with Lizzo. But nobody had rumors about Harry Styles dating Lizzo.
It's Penelope and Bridgerton. Sorry, it's that same fucking thing, right? It's like,
but now everybody's like, Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde are dating, and you're like, wait, he just did this with another woman, and you didn't do this there.
Sure, because they're people, yeah.
They're just
don't
friends.
conceive of them in the same hierarchical like world, right? Like, ugh.
Exactly. Why would Harry Styles be interested in a badass Lotus who can sing like a motherfucker,
Yeah.
who's made me cry?
Yeah.
I've seen her twice in the same week in concert, and she was incredible.
Yep.
And not only was she a talented performer who has just who can sing, she can flute, she can dance. She can dance.
I would
More
also
energy
to those photos of her on Instagram last week in like the Muppet faux fur bikini.
I want her wardrobe. I would wear that.
Yeah, first of all, you would look really cute in that. I actually have a jacket in that material, in that faux fur, that you can cut up and make into a bikini if you want to, but I will only let you have it if you cut it up and make it into a bikini. Otherwise, I'm wearing it as a jacket. But
I don't know how to make things, but if somebody will make that jacket into a bikini for me, I will wear it. But like, yeah, there can't be a good looking guy and a fat girl. That's not okay. Right. And the thing is, she's hot.
Yeah.
She's so hot and he's hot. And I don't see why they're about the same. The age difference is the same between Harry Styles and Lizzo as Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde. In fact, Lizzo's a little younger than Olivia Wilde. Because Lizzo and I are a week apart. So, I just, but that's the conversation in the trade. So it's worth noting that is a big conversation that bullshit would like Lizzo to top them for sure.
Yes.
You're not wrong. I think that like there's something
a powerful person. She might actually.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, bullshit. She might do it.
No, I just think she might have the opposite predilection in bed. I'm not actually sure.
I mean, honestly, lots of powerful people would rather be topped. Yeah,
right. They're just like, no, you do.
Hi, Mom and Dad. I'm glad that you're watching.
Oh man. Okay, so I have to pee. So either
it's time to go. This is the end of the episode.
I was like,
so because Thrasher has to pee, it's time to go. But it's been an hour. We really appreciate it. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
We have so much more to talk about. Like
not next Friday, but like we have a show. It's a bi-weekly show. So we'll see you again in a week and a half or 2 weeks, I guess, is really what bi-weekly means. And hopefully you tell your friends to watch and comment and be part of it and follow us on at Pop Culture Co-op at Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, and it's everywhere. And y'all rock, and we love you. So
we love you. Thank you for being here, everybody. It's really been fantastic, and we like didn't even scratch the surface of the stuff.
No, like this was like the start of a conversation. We jumped around so much. Like we're learning how to have a show like this, but like this is the first episode, and we love each other, which is great.
Yep.
Best thing that's happened to me during COVID. I love you. Okay.
Everybody. Thanks again.
Coffee makes the end show end.